Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most powerful homebrews on the PlayStation Vita, and that application is PKGj. So what this homebrew essentially does, it allows you to download and unpack package files directly onto your PlayStation Vita. Now, in order for this application to work to its fullest, we will need to install a few plugins, and I'll talk about each one of them in this video. Here are some features about this homebrew. It works on all PS Vita models, including the PlayStation TV. It's an easy way to see list of available downloads, including searching, filter, and sorting. It's a standalone, so it doesn't require a PC. Everything happens directly on the PlayStation Vita. Automatic download and unpack. Just choose an item and it will be installed, including the bubble in the live area. There are background downloads, which now supports the native function, so you can do whatever you want on the console while content is downloading. You can queue up multiple downloads at once. It supports the TSV file formats. It installs game updates, DLCs, demos, themes, PSM, PSP Games, PSP DLCs, and PSX games. So we're going to get right into this guide and show you what it's all about. Now, unfortunately, this application is not available to download on the VitaDB downloader, so I'll have a link to this VPK, and it's very easy to install. All you have to do is just copy the VPK over to your PS Vita and install the VPK on your PS Vita, and you should be all set. The latest version to this application is 0.57, and you will see a message when you first install it. If you have an older version of the VPK, it's going to ask you if you want to download the latest version, and here it is. The new PKGj version 0.57 is available. Do you want to download it? Let's hit yes. The update has been downloaded and is now located in our PKGj folder in the UXO. So let's go take a look of that. And under UXO, PKGj, and there is our update. 0.57, the VPK. Let's hit X to install the package, and it will install and update our application to the latest version. Excellent, that's done. And let's go check it out. And now it's updated to 0.57. Let's move on to installing some plugins. If you haven't already installed Autoplugins 2, I suggest installing it right away. I'll have a link to this VPK also, and we will need to install a few plugins in order for PKGj to run the way it should be running. Let's go under Vita plugins, and if you're installing Autoplugins 2 for the very first time, you will see an update go through. Just let it update and it won't take too long. Let's go into install plugins. And what we're going to do is make sure that we have the 0syscall6. Make sure that that's installed. Let's go to no npdrm. This bypasses the DRM protection on any PS Vita content. And we're also going to do the no PSM DRM. This will bypass the protection on the PSM game content as well. And that is basically it for what we need. Once you install those, press start, and this will restart your console and get those plugins all refreshed and ready to go. So let's head into PKGj and see how this application works for us. Hey guys, before we move any further, I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here and for watching my content. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't already subscribed and you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any new videos or streams in the future. Now, if you're looking to support me a little bit more, I do have a channel membership available now that you can join and support the channel further. And I also have a Patreon. So if you're looking to support me a little bit more that way, that is available and it's much appreciated. Thank you all so much for all of the views, the likes, the subscriptions, and joining as a member and also being a Patreon. So thank you all so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Pressing triangle is going to bring up the menu. We're going to have a search box, a sort by, filters of each of the regions that is available, a refresh button, and some filters here for several things that we want to just look at. If you just want to look at DLCs, we could just hit X and it will update to all of the DLC content that is available right away in the repository. So let's go back and show themes. These are official themes that you can download and install directly onto your PS Vita. And there isn't really no way to view these themes. You'll just have to press X to install. And let's see if it's installing. There we go. So it's queued up in the live area and it's going to be installed. What does that mean? Let's hit the home button. And there it is, installed that quickly. Make sure to refresh your lists occasionally. So that way you're updated to the latest version of that, or the latest version of that list of whichever category you're going through. That way you can see the new stuff that's popping in there every so often. So let's hit the refresh. Refreshing the content may take some time, so we just have to be patient and let PKGj do its thing. All right, we are ready to go. And depending on your internet speed, it's not going to go up too much when it comes to the download speeds because, you know, we're talking about an outdated console, the PS Vita. Let's go into our Adrenaline application. And there it is, Raiden for the PSP, installed and ready to go. Let's test it out. Looks like it's working just fine. And I cannot read Japanese, so this is probably a bad way to demo how this all works. So you can see it's working just fine. See if we can get our power up here. Metal. Very nice. And let's test this audio real quick. There we go. Now we got a little bit of audio. Let's now move on to the hidden settings in Autoplugins 2. Under Extras, we're going to find two different options, actually three, but the two we're focused on is the Configure PKGj options and download the PKGj database. So let's look at the Configure options. And here we have two different options we can change. The Install PSP Games as eboot files. So it allows to install games faster. You will need to install the plugin npdrm_free. The next option is switch partition for PSP and PS1 or PSX games. And we can change this to another partition. So UXO, UMAO, or your URO, depending on how your Vita is set up. And we're just going to leave it like that. I'm going to update by pressing triangle, and we're good to go. Let's go back to Extras and download the PKGj database. So under these settings, you'll see PSV games, DLCs, demos, themes, games for PSM, PSX, and PSP. And you can see that the latest date that's on there was February 20th. And let's press X on DLCs and see what happens. and it's going to start downloading and updating the list. And after this is complete, the date on that option should be updated to the current time and the current date. So if you are looking to download the database again, you can go through Autoplugins to update it. You have to press triangle, hit X on your filters or circle, whatever works on your console. Then you press menu again to apply those changes and to keep those changes. Sometimes it gets confusing on the back and forth, but that's how it works for the most part. Let's just look at YouTube. I know this application doesn't work, but this is just going to be an example on how it would look when you're going through this collection and adding stuff to your console. So let's hit X on YouTube, and we're going to get a window that's going to show us the firmware version, the required firmware version, the installed game version, the installed base compatibility pack, and a patch compatibility pack version. Diagnostic, it does a small diagnostic on your console, seeing if you're capable of playing this game with your current firmware. So right now our firmware is recent enough, and it's showing us that the game is not installed. So let's install the game and the patch. And another window will pop up confirming your selection. There it is, installation of YouTube queued in live area. Let's hit the home button. Now, if you experience a little bit of lag or a drop in download speeds, this happens because of PKG files that contains many small files or many folders. And creating a new file or a new folder does take extra time, which slows down the download. So I recommend downloading one application at a time. You'll get two windows. You'll get the download, right? It's installing. Very nice, very nice. And again, this YouTube application does not work, and it's going to be pointless for me to try, but we're just going to use this as a demo because a lot of these other games are just pretty large. And you're going to get also another window that's going to say waiting to install. So let's go back. And what we have to do is install the game. So when you start the application or game that you installed, it is going to install the application and complete it, basically. And that's that. So let's take a look at a couple things here I wanted to talk about. Now that is the Q&A. There's a lot of questions and some answers from the developer. So we're just going to go through the Q&A that's listed on github.com. I'll provide all this information for you guys in the description down below. So the first question is, where to remove interrupted failed downloads to free up the space? Only PSV updates, PSX, and PSP games. So in case of any PlayStation Vita content, just simply remove the queue download in your live area. Now sometimes, from my experience, what I've noticed is sometimes the games won't completely download and then they will fail and then it says try again. And then it just keeps going on and on with that, which is pretty annoying. So this is how to cancel that and to delete it off of your console. So in order for you to delete content that hasn't successfully installed or downloaded, what you want to do is go to your notifications bubble, and under the game that you're looking to delete, go and select the three little dots, and we're going to hit cancel. Cancel the download, and that should completely get rid of that off of your queue, and you should be all set. Let's go into Vita Shell and I'll show you where to delete your certain downloads. So under UXO and under the BGDL folder, here's where you can delete some of the content as well. So this is your background download function. And if you see something that just keeps erroring out, you can just go in here, delete it, get rid of it, and save you up a little bit of space there. So nothing too crazy. And everything else is going to be under your PKGj folder. So you'll see these ones here. Now with each download, they're going to be separated by each folder under the PKGj folder. So you can always delete those as well if you don't see it going through correctly. The next question is the download speed is too slow. So typically you should see speeds of 1 to 2 megabytes per second. This is normal for Vita hardware, and of course it also depends on your Wi-Fi router. So if you have a good Wi-Fi signal strength, you should be fine in getting the top download speeds. But sometimes the speeds will drop down to a few hundred kilobytes per second. And this happens for PKG files that contains many small files or many folders. So creating a new file or a new folder takes extra time, which slows the download. So be careful on queuing up multiple games, because that is going to slow down your console completely. So make sure just to do one at a time. I would recommend doing that, unless you want to let it sit overnight, 8-10 hours, and then you can just let it do its thing. So the next question is, can't background download for PSP games and they don't appear in the live area? So in order for you to download the PSP games and to launch them directly from the live area outside of Adrenaline, you will need a plugin called No PSP Menu DRM plugin. This will make them download as eboot files instead of ISOs, and you'll see the bubble directly on your PlayStation Vita, which we'll cover in a different video. The next question is, I want to install PSP games as eboot file. So installing PSP games as eboot files is possible. It allows to install games faster and makes them take less space, but you will need to install the npdrm_free plugin to make them work. So to install the PSP games as eboot files, just add the following line to your config. Now, if you want to switch back to the other mode, just simply remove the plugin and you'll be back to normal. So the next question is, I can't play PSP games. It says the game could not be started. So you need to install the npdrm_free plugin, and you'll need to install the games as ISO. So there are some games that are not going to work as eboot file, and then you're going to have to move to ISO. So there is a bit of a game that you will have to play and see what works on your PS Vita. Now the PlayStation mobile games don't work. Now, as I mentioned before, you will have to install those plugins that is needed for these games to work. So you can also activate your account for PSM Games by using the No PSM DRM Fixer plugin. The next question is, can't download updates or DLCs on my PlayStation TV. So this error is caused by the anti-blacklist, and I do have a full video covering this specific feature that you can bypass with a plugin, which is called Dulce Pulse. And I have a full video on that, which you can check out specifically for the PlayStation TV, and I'll have that link down below for you. Now, the final question is, how do I use compatibility packs? Now, these packs are disabled by default, and it is recommended to use the refood or ZeroSysCall6 plugin. If you would like to still use compatibility packs, you'll have to go into the No PlayStation repos on gitlab.com. In the config file, firmware 3.65 or lower require a workaround for TLS. The compatibility pack list has not been updated since October 2019. So I will also cover this in another video and hopefully get into more depth into this topic. And there you have it, guys. That is probably the greatest homebrew you can install on your PlayStation TV, because it's insanely powerful and what you can do with it is pretty awesome. And that's why I always recommend, when my clients or viewers or subscribers or fans ask me what SD card should I start out with, I always tell them to start out with the 512 gigabyte card, because most likely you're going to max it out in a few weeks with the amount of content that is available just through that application alone is pretty insane. And there's just so much going on in there, and it's constantly being updated because the community is constantly updating the library, adding to the library. So there you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below. I appreciate you being here with me, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.